Okay, I'm going to put this in real quick. I'm recording it toward the end, but I just thought I would mention this for perspective. Sweden itself is about the size of California, and I'll throw a little graphic up so you can get an idea. So roughly the landmass is that of California. The population of the entire country is about 10.4 million. That equates to, I think the closest state that equates to is the population in North Carolina. Oh, and I think we're on the 15th degree parallel, which geographically puts us around the same place as southern Alaska as far as general climate and weather conditions go. Maybe a little bit milder because of the Baltic Sea here, but roughly that's where we're positioned, southern Alaska. Okay, back to the vid. Hey YTPC, this is a video that I've been promising people I was going to make for a long time. Been wanting to make it for a long time, so I finally forced myself to sit down and do it. Pulled out the Vauen Enzian 4 tonight. Hope you all can see that. Very nice Cavalier pipe. And in it, some HU Khartoum cigar blend. Awesome, awesome. So I'm not a very good storyteller, but I'm gonna try and force myself. Most of my adult life, I've had to deal with brief, factual, and to the point communication. Doesn't lend itself well to storytelling. But I do realize there's people out there like me that want the Cliff Notes version. So I'm going to tell the story, but then I'm going to put at the end a Cliff Notes version of it, and you'll be able to skip ahead to, I'll put the time up here somewhere. Just skip ahead to that. That's the short version. I'll also have a section at this time where I'll talk about some things that are unique to Sweden that Americans or non-Swedes might find odd or interesting. So why Sweden? Well, the story starts back in the summer of 2014. Living in Colorado, raising my two boys. They were both in high school at the time. So I started to get into online gaming and was in a group with some people, and they talked about a new video game coming out. And I'd never heard of it, but it sounded cool. So later that year, I pre-ordered it and started playing it. And it became pretty much the only game I played. Still play it today, by the way. And it's called Elite Dangerous. And the video game itself will be important later. So I've been playing the game for about 2 years. It's now 2016 in the fall. There's an online streaming site called Twitch where you actually broadcast. It's kind of like a YouTube Live, but it's more for gaming. Basically set up some software and you broadcast whatever your video game you're playing, which is what I was doing with Elite Dangerous. And somewhere in the fall of 2016, my wife, who obviously wasn't at the time, happened to stumble across and click on my stream and watched. And over time, I guess she had watched again and again. And about December, started chatting and communicating in the streams itself. So, um, and one particular stream, she asked if she could talk after the stream. And so that takes us into early 2017. We start talking in voice and got to know each other a little bit and decided that we should maybe meet. So she flew to the States and we hit it off. And then I visited her in Sweden and decided to put in my application for Swedish residency because during the talking, if we decided we were going to get together, she did not want to live in the States. So therefore, I had to, if I wanted to be together, I was going to be living in Sweden. So that's the choice that I made to move here. And I was fortunate enough that I was in a position to where I could liquidate my investment properties and pretty much not have to work again. And of course, she said she would pay all the bills, but you know how that goes. I don't want to feel like I'm a burden, especially with me buying all my toys. So, anyway, it all worked out. And my last day of work was on May 31st, 2018. And I was on a plane June 1st to fly here. So, yeah, it moved pretty quick. And I think the hardest part was having to sell most everything that I owned. Because I basically paid for a 16-foot shipping container, and it was only about half full, but that's the smallest size I could get with just some of the bare minimum things that that I just couldn't part with, that I couldn't sell or didn't want to sell or donate. So yeah, since June 1st, 2018, I've been here. When people always ask me, "Oh, what's it like to live there?" And for me, it's not really any different than pretty much any other place, other than the fact they speak a different language. But almost everybody here speaks English. So it's not good for me learning Swedish because they'll just switch over to English. And but I moved growing up. My dad moved a lot, and I moved a lot through my career and in the military. So home is wherever I lay my head. So that's it. That's the story. I moved here for love to the most amazing woman I ever met. Hope you enjoyed the story. Now for some things, and I wrote them down because I didn't want to forget. Some things that Americans, especially, but perhaps other folks from other countries might find odd. We take shoes off in the house here. You know, at first that was weird to me, but now I do it without thinking, just kicking them off. So I know there's a lot of Asian cultures where you don't wear shoes in the house, and Swedes you don't wear. So you better have good socks on. Don't have your old holy socks if you visit somebody. Hoses do not come with the ends on them. They're just rubber tubes with no ends, and you have to put the part that screws into the spigot, and you have to actually assemble the part for the nozzle on hoses. That bothers me. On firearms, if you want to own a gun here, you have to take a course for each caliber of gun. So if I want to get a 22, I have to take a whole entire shooting course on a 22 caliber. And then if I want to get a 9mm, I got to take a different course. Doesn't matter my military training, prior firearms experience, or whatnot. Nope. Everybody takes that for each caliber of weapon. And you have to have a gun safe that is capable of holding all of the weapons that you're licensed for. Because, you know, that's where everybody keeps their firearms. At least here in Sweden, anyway, they do. No better place for a home defense weapon than in the safe. There's no screens on the windows here. They just don't do it. I had to custom make the screens that I have here in my shop because I didn't want bugs flying in. But the bugs aren't too bad. But still, you know, something takes a bit of getting used to. No screens on the windows. Also, the windows don't open up and down here. They either like swing out or swing open this way, but they don't. There's no sliders like that here. Let's see what else. Oh, the doors open out. The hinges are on the outside of the building, which obviously, you know, in America, they open inward for security reasons. You don't want the hinges on the outside. Generally, Swedes don't initiate conversations with strangers. So if you're in a long line, you know, sometimes in America, people will start commenting or initiate some kind of casual conversation. Not here. There's no air conditioning. I've not seen any air conditioning other than in cars. I haven't seen air conditioning anywhere, even in commercial buildings. Let's see what else. Okay, I just have really one more. And for me, it's completely insane. I don't know how they do it. They put ketchup on pasta here. Even if it's got pasta sauce, they pour ketchup on pasta. I know. Italians are rolling in their graves. My Italian DNA is twitching a little bit. Yeah. So I'll leave that as the last things that non-Swedes might find interesting or different about Sweden. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up the why I'm in Sweden. Some little factoids and tidbits about Sweden. And the very end is the Cliff Notes version. Pretty sure none of the Cliff Notes people watched it to this point. So anyway, I'm going to finish the rest of this awesome bowl of my cigar leaf blend. And I will catch you all in the next one. Okay, for those of you folks like me that just want the facts, 2014, I started playing a video game. Same video game that my wife played at the time. She started watching my streams on Twitch in 2016, initiated conversation in early 2017. We talked back and forth, visited 4 times, decided we wanted to be together. She didn't want to live in the States, so I was in a position where I could liquidate assets and move here. That's how I ended up in Sweden for love. That's your Cliff Note version. Probably not going to prepare you for the test if there is one, but it'll get you through the course.
So I jump ship in Hong Kong, and I make my way over to Tibet, and I get on as a looper at a course over there in Himalayas.
A looper?
A looper. You know, a caddy, a looper. Jack. So I tell him I'm a pro Jack. And who do you think they give me? The Dalai Lama himself. The 12th son of the Lama. The flowing robes, the grace, bald. Striking. So I'm on a first tee with him. I give him the driver. He hauls off and whacks one. Big hitter. the Lama. Long. Into a 10,000-foot crevice right at the base of this glacier. Do you know what the Lama says?
No.
Gunga Galunga. Gunga Gunga La Gunga. So we finish 18, and he's gonna stiff me. And I say, hey, Lama, hey, how about a little something, you know, for the effort, you know? And he says, oh, there won't be any money. But when you die, on your deathbed, you will receive total consciousness. So I got that going for me, which is nice.